Hey everybody, it's time for a brand new video. This is in response to Notes Record Tag 2021 from my good friend over at Notes Reviews. The first question he asked is an album that I got for free and bonus points if it was from the band. Well, I think I'm going to get double bonus points for this because it's from Nectar and it is from them, and it is also signed, and I have signed it and I have framed it. And the glare is horrible on that, but you get the gist. By the way, check this album out, it is fantastic. Alright, the second question was a rainy day album. Well, I'm going to pick one that fits that bill very well, and this is Beck's Sea Change. Look at the track listing there, hopefully. Great album also. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It fits the rainy day tag to a T. Alright, number 3. An album that has grown on me, and an album you didn't like when you first heard it and now you love. Well, that one was easy, and this is In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, and it's by a group called Neutral Milk Hotel. A lot of you have probably seen that cover because I think it's on every Indies top 10 list at number 1. It is a good album. It's very lo-fi. A little hard to get into, but it's one of those you get pretty rewarded once it clicks with you, I find. Great album. Okay, let's go on to question 4. An album that has a woman member in the band who doesn't sing. Well, the only one that really comes into my mind is a young lady by the name of Jenny Conley, who is in the Decemberists. And of course, this is their album, The King is Dead. And she's on the back. Where is she? She's right there. I know Mike's a big, I know Notes is a big fan of the Decemberists as well, so great albums too. Very acoustic based. I wouldn't say it's really prog, but this could have been also a rainy day album as well. Great album. Alright, a Cottage Vibes album. It's not so much a Cottage Vibe album, but more of a camping album, I'd say. We did have a family cottage when I was younger growing up, and I remember listening to this a lot up there, but I remember being into it when we did a lot of camping, especially as I was an older teen, in grade 10 or 11, where I could be on my own and going camping with friends. And this is one that I'm sure I drove my friends nuts with, but that was Jethro's Tull, Songs from the Wood. So to me, this really takes me back to camping and as well as being up at the family cottage. Okie dokie. Question number 6. An album that has Mike Portnoy on drums. Bonus points if it's not Dream Theater. Well, that was pretty easy because he's in a lot of groups. But I picked Flying Colours' most recent album and their third album called Third Degree. Personally, my favorite of the band. Great album. Of course, Neil Morris is on it. Steve Morris from Deep Purple. Great album. If you're unfamiliar with that, check that one out. Got something for everybody that I think would enjoy. Okay, let's see. A side project album. Well, this one's going to feature a lot of people. Mainly, this is See Within. This is their debut album, and this features Ronnie Stolt and Jonas Reinhold from the Flower Kings, Marco Minimum, drummer extraordinaire, Tom Brislin, who is now playing with Kansas, and Daniel Gildenau, who is of course with Pain and Salvation, and also features Casey McPherson from, Flying Colours. This album is decent. I wouldn't say it's something you should rush out and buy, but it's definitely something that I think you should listen to. Spotify has it. Check it out. It does have some decent stuff. It sounds a little bit rushed, but nonetheless, you know, it has potential and there's some good tracks on it. With all this stuff, I mean, you guys should check it out anyways. It's all good music, in my opinion. Alright, the first album I purchased with my own money. Well, that's an easy one, and this is going back, oh crap, probably mid-80s. I've had all this time. This, of course, is David Bowie's Diamond Dogs. Sorry about this, I've just got a new camera and everything is kind of reversed compared to my old one, so I'm still learning. Okay. A nostalgic album for me. Well, this one was easy. Now, my dad was a big Beatles fan, and I remember him introducing to me at a very young age. And one album that really resonated with me, and still to this day, and I still put it on and it just takes me right back to being a young child, of course, is the Magical Mystery Tour. And I'm going to go on record as saying this right now. This is the better album of the two from 1967, and of course the other album was Sgt. Pepper. Not saying it's a bad album, but I think this one for me is the better of the two. So, the Magical Mystery Tour was my nostalgic album answer. Alright, an album you got at a concert. Well, that I haven't done for whatever reason, but I'm going to show you two albums that have been released from concerts that I've been to. And this, of course, is Roger Waters' Us and Them. I saw this in Winnipeg, Manitoba back in, well, whatever year it was. I don't honestly remember at the moment. 2017 maybe, 18. And this concert and this DVD are mind-blowing. The album is so good. You guys need to check that out. And the other one I'm going to choose is probably from the last concert I went to, and that was Legacy of the Beast by Iron Maiden, which I also saw in Winnipeg. There's a better picture of the case. So yeah, great shows, great memories indeed. Okay. A quintessential summer album. Well, every track on here reminds me of Seven, because I think when I was young and was exposed to Duran Duran, it was in the summer, and you know, the title track, Hungry Like the Wolf, Hold Back the Rain, Save a Prayer, they all have a summer feeling to me. And I do listen to it quite a bit. In fact, I spun this the other night, and wow, what a tremendous album. You really got to get by them as a boy band and appreciate them as musicians, and then you'll understand why this album is so great. Okie dokie. The most expensive single record I own. Well, back in the day, this album here by Iron Maiden, A Matter of Life and Death, was only released on picture disc, and I wanted it on vinyl so bad, and I think I paid about $75, and there it is. You can see the sticker there somewhere. Now that they've since reissued them on black vinyl, I got it. And this one, it sounded alright. It didn't sound that great, but I think now it's just kind of more of a collector's piece than anything, because I'll listen to the other one over it because it sounds fantastic. But this is the most expensive record that I have purchased. An album that I have more than one across the same format. Well, that one's pretty easy to do. But of course, we'll start with, the one I chose was Peter Hamill's The Silent Corner and the Empty Stage. This is just the single non-gatefold version I have. And I'll grab the other one here. And the second version has a gatefold. Same cover. Same back. We've got some impressive artwork there. Not sure what the hell that is, but anyways. So that's my answer to an album that you have more than one across on the same format. Alright, the next question that Mike asked was a quintessential Canadian album. Well, I'm sure I could have said yes, and I'm sure everybody would agree. But there's another band, another three-piece set I think is just as important as Rush to our history, and that is the Tea Party. And this is The Edges of Twilight. Of course, this had their big songs, Fire in the Head, The Bazaar, Correspondences, Sister Awake. A brilliant album. So that is my answer to a quintessential Canadian album, or sorry, group. Alright, question 15. An album that marked a stark change in style. Well, this one just came to me because I was kind of struggling with this because there's so much to choose from, but I've been in a real Radiohead mood lately, and been listening to, of course, Pablo Honey and the Bends and OK Computer a lot. And then I realized that, holy crap, Kid A was a dramatic change in style. You know, this album here hardly features any, guitar, bass, anything normal. There's a lot of, I don't know, it's a more of an electronic album than anything. But it was a complete different change in style from OK Computer. And that's Radiohead's Kid A. Alright, a feel-good album. Well, by the title of this, you would maybe suggest that it's not a feel-good album, but that is another Canadian group called the Arcade Fire, which I have my brother to thank for me introducing to me many years ago. This album is a tremendous album for taking you from a kind of a gloomy, doomy mode and bringing you back up to being happy. You know, it's got Neighborhood 1, 2, they're all great. I'm not going to go into it, I'll just show you. Great album, so that's my choice for a feel-good album. Okay, number 17, an album I inherited from a family member. Well, after my dad passed away, we had a bunch of records to go through, and I mean, I could have picked a bunch more than this, but this is the one I seem to feel that I had maybe scored something that I was happy with, and I'm glad that I was able to grab it from him because, again, like the Beatles, showed me a love for music, and this is one of the bands that he introduced me to. And of course, it's Led Zeppelin, and then this is their 1975 double album, Physical Graffiti, with the die cut out cover. So yeah, that is my answer to an album I inherited from a family member. Alright, the next question is an album you bought solely on cover art. I haven't done that. It's one thing that I'm kind of particular when I set out to buy something. I've already kind of decided that I'm going to buy it, and I don't base anything just on cover. I don't randomly go, oh, this cover looks cool, I better grab it, because I think that it's taking a little bit of a gamble, and I mean, not that that's a big deal, but I just, my brain doesn't work that way. I get kind of mindset about buying a certain thing, and that's what I end up doing. Question 19, a high school flashback album. Well, this is back in 1994. I graduated in 95, and this, of course, is Pink Floyd's The Division Bell. Again, I think my circle of friends, I think I drove them nuts playing this because that's what I was into around 94, 95, and I had the chance of seeing them in Winnipeg on this tour, but for whatever reason, I don't remember why, but something came up and I just couldn't go to it, which I kind of kick myself in the ass for now, because I mean, I've seen Roger Waters a couple times, but it would sure have been nice to see the actual Floyd doing this. A tremendous album, great memories from high school. And the last question, an album that tells a story. Well, let's go back to my phone here because I have a little info on it because I can never remember exactly how the story goes. So just bear with me for a second. Anyways, the album in question is Spock's Beard and Snow. Anyways, the little write-up I have, of course my phone goes, is Snow is a working man's son with healing powers who leaves for New York City, where he has a series of disturbing interactions with a Harlem Night, a prostitute, a homeless man, and he finds love and then loses it. As he declines into poverty and madness, Snow ends up homeless himself and near death before friends arrive to rescue him. So that's the story of the album Snow by Spock's Beard. Alright, and that answers the last question, last prompt, whatever you want to call it. I've enjoyed doing these. I've done a regular, let's see, there was a regular prog vinyl tag, and then the Prog Nerd had one, so make sure you go out and check that one out and do a reaction to that. And let's keep up the fun. As always, guys, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.